All right, yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another webinar. So all these webinars I'm going to be doing, you could find later on inside of the course once the rest of the content releases for the phase one, which is going to be January 1st. And then I'm going to start working on the phase two content, but you guys will continuously see all the webinars there as well. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to recap some of the trades that we were talking about yesterday. First one being with GJ. So GJ didn't do anything at all, which is kind of expected. I'm not really expecting the markets to do too much, even though we did see a big move on gold and silver. But as of right now, GJ is still maintaining at this resistance level. But if you bump it up to a daily time frame, we definitely do have the potential to continue to actually trade higher, especially at this daily candlestick closed above these closes over here. So the potential for GJ to continue higher is definitely there. In a situation like this, it's best to have an established foundation for support. And then we could actually look to take a buy position later on, possibly sometime during London session. I'd be very curious to see how this current candlesticks are forming and what the pair actually does look like. So with gold, one thing I was talking about was to look for price to actually come back down into 1797 before looking to take a buy position. Now, I know some people were in an aggressive short position here, which is fine, but the trade just didn't play out. And like I said, that's not a trade that I would have been prone to actually taking. I would have waited for price to actually come down into 1797 to look to take a buy. Now, if we look at the daily time frame on gold, that's setting up quite nicely. We have a bearish engulfing to the downside. So we definitely do have a potential for gold to come back down into 1797, which is about 76 pips away. If you're a counter trend trader, then you could look for short opportunities on this 30-minute time frame based off of this 30-minute time frame market structure here. So as of right now, the best bet for gold is to actually wait for price to come back down into 1797, maybe even a little bit higher than 1797, 1799, call it 1800 is where I'll start to look for buy positions. Now, I don't expect gold to actually continue to go up this week. I would want to see how the weekly candlestick closes first, because if the weekly candlestick closes as a bearish engulfing, then most likely next week, I'm going to be looking to actually sell. I'm not going to be looking for any buy positions. And that's if the weekly candlestick can actually close under 1797, and then we have an engulfing pattern. At that point in time, what I'd do is I'd wait for price to pull back up into 1797, where I'll look to take a sell. So it really is one of two things. If price can close above 1797 on this weekly time frame, next week I'll look to buy. And this is kind of how I'm preparing myself for the following week, because I'm not trading this week. In that situation where price closes under 1797 and price is actually a bearish engulfing candlestick pattern, I'll look to sell possibly long-term down to 1760, let's call it. And then silver is the same thing. Silver, I'm going to be looking for shorts. So one thing that I talked about was that silver, I would want to see how this weekly candlestick closes. So if this weekly candlestick, so if you guys take a quick look at this area here where I just drew this horizontal line, here we have support, here we have resistance, resistance, support, support. So if price can actually close under the zone, then next week I'm going to look for possibly another pullback and then look to go short, even though on the daily time frame it does look really good to go short. Notice how, again, this was a big potential liquidity grab because a lot of people are most likely interested in selling this area. So price pumped up, took stop losses, and now we're actually trading under support. So we definitely could see price continue to trade lower. I'd be very curious to see where price would actually head to over the next following days, because we still have a few days for the week to end, about 4 days. So I'd want to see how the next few daily candlesticks actually play out. Really though, I'd want to see the weekly close something like this. So then the next week, what I can anticipate is some form of a bearish engulfing, which at that point in time will then look to take price down, possibly to this daily level that we have over here. And then from there, we'll make decisions on where we could see price go next. If price actually breaks this area, then we'll just simply wait for that pullback and then look to take price short, look to take price lower, definitely, possibly somewhere in this 21 range down here is where I would look for price to actually travel to next. So pretty simple setup on silver and on gold. There's really nothing for you to do right now other than just simply wait. Anybody have any questions? So on that, so the trades I'm looking for is still the same. Any questions? What do I think about US 30? Not sure. Haven't checked US 30 in a minute. It's the S&P 500.
Raul, can you break down S&P 500 actually?
The thing with it is I'm going to be looking for more shorter term trades on the S&P 500. We know that overall the S&P 500 is a very bullish pair, averages about 10% a year. Now, what I would look for in a situation like this is notice how we have resistance all throughout this range here, where week after week price struggled to break above this level. So 47.20, let's call it. Right now that price is actually looking like it's going to break above that level. What I'd simply wait for is for price to pull back into that area, look for some form of support to be established, and then look to take a buy position from there back up to its original highs. If you want to take a counter trend position for it, you could as well, even though that's definitely way riskier because we don't know if this bullish trend will, in theory, end and wait for that pullback. So that's kind of what I would wait for the S&P 500. We can look to actually take a buy position from that point in time. Because normally it does happen. We'll see a big move up, but then a pullback into the highs, just like what happened over here. We saw the break initially, a big move up, a pullback into the highs. We have support rejected here, back into the highs, and then we had price reject support here again, and then we went right back up into the highs, which now it's making higher highs. Yeah, sure. Where are you?
Bro, are you able to go over GU?
Yeah, I can cover it really quick.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Hey, what's up? Yeah, my fault. I had left when you were going over GJ. This is J Capital, by the way. But I had a question. Wait, can you switch over to GJ real quick?
Yeah.
All right, so I saw that we were approaching a daily zone, and that's what my target was. It was a little higher than where price is currently at right now. I saw we had that bullish engulfing, and it closed above, and then it looked like it came down for a retest. And I actually caught the movement to the upside. It didn't fully go completely to my target, but then it started retracing down. But like right now, it looks like we're having like a 5-6 rejection, and we're gonna be heading to the upside if you go back down to like a 30-minute time frame. Do you think like we're gonna see a continuation? Do you think we're gonna have a continuation?
I do think we're gonna have a continuation just because this momentum is holding very strong, especially that this bearish candle didn't close back under these highs over here or these highs closes. I do see price having a potential for continuation up to probably like 156, which is a pretty big move. But the only thing is like we're approaching New Year's now.
Yeah. So that would be your next target? It wouldn't be like right where the tip of that daily candlestick is on the left side? Like right about there? You see how we touched it twice? No, on your right side, go right a little bit? Yeah, see like right there, that wick and those wicks, like they both seem to touch like identically at that exact like level. I don't know what level it is now.
It's all the same like level.
Yeah, like right about there, yeah.
Yeah. You could look for that area, but if you like bump it up to the weekly, like this is more.
Oh, got you. Okay. Yeah.
So
okay,
I would
that makes sense.
this area on the weekly here.
All right, thank you.
Okay, someone wanted me to cover GU. So with GU, what I was looking for initially was to wait for price to come into this area to look for a buy. That's what I would have done. Price didn't do that. And one thing I stated was we'd want to see what would happen if price approaches this area. Now that price has actually approached this area and closed above it, it's holding as support right here. So you could look for a buying opportunity potentially up to the next level, which is all the way up here, which you'll have like a potential 68 pip upside. Let's say you put your stop loss around here, 30 pips, you could have like a 2 times your risk situation. My only concern is that the volume, there's not much volume now coming to the holiday period. It does seem like the daily time frame is starting to switch over, but the weekly is still, the weekly in this short-term trend here still pretty bearish.
Yeah, that was going to be my question because I thought like it kind of looks like it's still bearish on the weekly time frame.
Yeah.
So that's why I was asking. I wasn't sure if like I do see bearish on lower time frame. I mean, I'm sorry, bullish on higher lower time frame, but
Yeah.
it's just kind of a little confusing, I guess. I'm at the point in your course where you're going over market structure and things of that, but like
Yeah.
I don't really get where it's at right now because
Yeah.
I do see like it's breaking. It broke that. You see where your gray horizontal is, where it broke that lower high, right? That lower high structure, like you said. But like, are you looking for it to come down back into 133,600 and then break back up to 1.35050, like that area there?
Yeah. At this point, no, because if we break under this area, most likely we're going to continue to go short. I do see potential shorts because if we pay attention to the weekly time frame in this area here, right, notice the main rejections were around this high up here. So 1.35050 is where I would look to take another short position. Again, what we could see is this week actually push up to this area, which is 1.35,000, call it, right? And then the following week, form some type of a bearish engulfing if GJ is going to continue to trade lower. Now, the one thing that I would wait for again, as of right now, this 4-hour structure is very bullish, so I would just wait. I'd probably take a buy position, probably up to here, and then wait and see what happens. If it breaks above, then most likely we're going to keep trading higher. But if price forms some form of like a double top, or I see momentum starting to shift, I'll look to take a sell, where we can have a nice trend continuation here on the weekly time frame. Because what I see is price pushing up all the way up to this area over here, and then what I'm expecting would be for next week to form that bearish engulfing candlestick, which we could then see price actually come all the way back down to here.
And that's what I had marked up. So like if you go to the 4-hour, like I see how prices kind of like stopped right there at the 34,600, right? But like I was gonna wait for a sell when it actually broke below that low at 33,800.
This one.
Yeah. So if it breaks below that level and retest for the lower high, like you were saying in your course, like then we could get a sell on that, right?
For sure.
Like if it breaks below that, all right, cool.
Yeah, for sure. Because right now, if you look at it, like momentum is slowing down at this level of support, where if I just kind of zoom out, we could see that also happening over here where we have support and we have, this is major support. So the fact that price is slowing down at this major level of support, then I would be very concerned to actually look to take sell positions. One thing, obviously, I'd like to see is a nice bullish engulfing candlestick pattern, or maybe even for price to come back down into this area where, again, like it's all a zone, right? Let me actually clear this. Again, this is all a zone. It's not just like a specific price. And right now, price is maintaining above previous resistance, and it's now holding as support. So the fact that we also have this exhaustion here, I would look to actually take price long and continue to look for that. Right now, obviously, it's definitely not ready. But I would expect like a trend reversal or a trend change if price were to break under these lows here.
Okay, cool. Thank you, bro.
Yeah. Anybody else want to come on, ask me some questions?
Raul?
Yeah.
I'm currently in a EU sell, and I took prices like in a big range, and I took it at the top of the range. Well, all of that you see all of those rejections to the upside, and then you see all of that exhaustion on the daily time frame. And today we got a daily bearish engulfing, but it's not a it was a lot of wick on that engulfing, but I think that was due to the pullback on like the H4 time frame. And right now my targets is towards let me see, it's around like it's like around 12,500, and it's like a little some support in between levels on like the H4 time frame. I'm just thinking based off how price rejected the highs around 13,325. If I should because right now I'm just targeting. I'm not really worried about the levels that's in between on the H4 time frame, but more so that level down there around around all of that exhaustion at the bottom, around like 12,675. I'm just asking if those targets, if I should just keep my target down there, or if I should worry about any of the levels in between, like on the lower time frames.
Well, in a situation like this with Euro USD, right, it's clear as day that overall it's in a bearish trend. Price is moving down, price is making its lower lows and its lower high points, right? Now, one thing about different types of pullbacks is that consolidation is a form of a pullback. It's just a different type of a pullback, but it's not a pullback that we're normally used to seeing. We like to look for clean pullbacks in quotations, and we don't always get clean pullbacks, right? Because then you have this form of a pullback here, and that's still a valid lower high point. Then we see continuing to make lower lows. Now, not the problem, but the thing that I see here with Euro and where, even though I don't trade Euro, and even though where I could see Euro USD potentially going is that, again, it comes down to supply and demand. Right here, we have a level of resistance, right? Price is broken under that. It's pulled back into resistance where we could see it on the daily time frame, and resistance is holding very well, right? There's a lot of exhaustion to the upside, and it does seem like there is selling pressure in this area. It's also a good thing that no wick has passed this high point here, because that is where we saw a retracement from the original lower low point, which is all the way up here. Price has been consolidating. The only things, so where's your stop loss and where is your target?
Right now my stop loss is above the wicks around. Let me tell you.
Where's your entry?
I have an entry at it's 13,187. I have my first entry, 13,187, and I have a second entry at 1343. Well, 130.43 around there.
It's like right here.
Yeah.
And where's your stop?
My stops is at 133.88.
It's like right here.
No, on 33.88. That's 38.
133.
A little lower. Yeah, around 33. Yeah, around there.
And your target is down here?
Yes. I put it a little higher based on how price rejected around like 12,400. So I put it a little higher around there where price showed those big rejections back to the upside.
Okay. I mean, the only thing that I see with this trade, I mean, obviously you have a good risk to reward. It's almost 4 times your risk. The only problem is we're not really in a time in the markets where there's a lot of volume.
Yeah.
So the only thing that would concern me is you get stuck in consolidation and price kind of just stops you out of the trade early before it even goes down.
Yeah, that's why if you could zoom into the, I think it was H1. Well, on the H1 it was just making higher lows. Like it was a little retrace on the M30. I was watching the wicks on the smaller time frame. They was getting higher and higher, but now it looks like price is trying to actually
break lower. Yeah, I see that.
Break lower. So that's kind of what I was worried about. But now that I'm seeing price break down lower, I'm gonna wait to see how the 30-minute closes, and if I get like some type of bearish engulfing or some type of strong candle signifying that sellers is picking back up, then I'll look to keep my targets around where they are. But as you can see, like that resistance is like a mid level resistance around 12,900, like 68.70. Like around there with price, right there with price tapped right there and tapped right there as resistance, and then held the support right around
So like right here,
yeah, a little higher though, a little higher,
right here.
like right there, yeah, around there.
What, you plan on getting out here?
Nah, I don't plan on getting out there. I was just asking, should I be worried about the little levels, like, because the overall higher time frame price broke through those levels plenty of times, but it's like around right there.
It could break, but you could definitely see reversals at these levels. The only thing that concerns me about this trade is I feel the stop loss is a little bit too tight because you have price. So over here we have December 22nd, right? So the fact that since December 22nd, price failed to break above, say, this area right here, I would have at least put my stop loss somewhere over here just to be a little bit safer.
Yeah, I have
I'd rather have a smaller, I'd rather have a bigger stop loss and a smaller lot size than getting stopped out on my original position with a small stop loss, but still being in the trade with a bigger stop loss.
All right, that's another question I have too, because I had my stop loss right around there above those highs yesterday, but when price I guess it was like a little push where that wick started, price pushed down around US session this morning, and then I moved my stops down a little bit. I moved my stops down like just a little bit, so I have it now. But I was saying like
the only thing though is that like moving your stop loss too quick is also counterproductive.
Yeah.
Now that you have, like, let's just say this is where your stop loss is right now, right? You weren't even up what you were risking when price was at its lowest point in the New York session. So in a situation like this, I would have left my stop loss up here because the trade hasn't even moved. And if your main target is down here, you got to give the trade time to really breathe. That's the only thing. Other than that, it's a good setup.
All right, thank you.
Oh, can I ask you why you like silver?
I just read silver and it looks very clean to me. I can identify the patterns and the levels very well. And this market structure is very nice for me to actually read. Like if I was actually trading, this setup right here from this move to this move would have been cake to catch, along with this one, potentially even this one here as well. Silver just is a pair that I could read price very well, and I know what to wait for, things to look out for. Plus, it's a commodity. It's a bigger market than a currency.
When does it move like in the market like best, like New York?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question. Would you suggest us upgrading our trading view plans? I mean, of course, it's like person specific. It's everyone's like decision to do it if they want to do it or not. But like you personally, do you think that we should have like at least a pro plan?
I think so. You know what I mean? It's part of your trading business. Why not invest into your business?
And like, what do you utilize from it? Like, do you use like the notifications for like the levels?
I do, yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Alerts, yeah.
I got a question.
What's up, bro?
So, how did you get over breaking even, like the period of breaking even, like back to back?
Looking for risk to reward was my issue. Looking for higher risk to reward ratio trades. That's how I kind of got over my I don't want to say little, but that's how I got over that break even period. Because my trades I was making roughly just as much as I was losing, or maybe even a little bit less, right? So like I'd make like $2,000 or $3,000, and I'd have then I'd have like one or two trades where I'd lose those profits. So I was just looking for bigger risk to reward ratio trades, is what I was doing. Also trade management as well. I feel like everybody's situation is everybody's situation is going to be different. I would just identify in your journal. I know I haven't unlocked the journal portion of the course yet, but that's going to come. I would just identify in your journal different things that you spot, which may be bad habits in your trading. Because one thing I was doing was also costing myself profits by entering trades too early, which would obviously kill some of the profitable trades that I did have. And what I slowly started doing was looking to trade to be able to buy myself more time into the markets, and also changing my mindset into that, not trading to make money, but trading to buy myself more time in the markets and then withdrawing along the way.
Thank you. And also, I'm on the part of accumulation and distribution, and I don't really quite understand it and how it benefit like my trader.
It doesn't really benefit your trading, but I feel like that was information that I wanted to put out there for people to understand how that actually works. So I wouldn't say, that's something you want to apply to your trading, but that's just kind of what happens in the markets.
Okay.
One question, Ro. You were talking about you're getting in a little too early in your trades. How would you gauge a trade? For example, we talk about engulfing candles. Do you wait for the candle to close, or do you kind of like speculate that it's going to close as an engulfing candle? Like, how do you base it off of it?
The thing is, when you start, it's not always going to be right. Again, it's just speculation. So what I would do is maybe enter based off of a lower time frame, but I never try and speculate what the candlestick is going to do, because again, it's not confirmed until the candlestick actually does it. Because you can speculate that it's going to close engulfing, and the pattern might look like it is closing engulfing, but in the last 5 minutes, it makes a big wick and closes bullish, and you just costed yourself a potential loss for no reason.
Can you check out AU?
What's up?
AU.
I've never traded AU in my life, but sure.
I just was looking at it because I know the structure is good and it's easy for like beginner traders and everything. I'm currently in a sale, and I was like, I caught it at like the weekly time frame around. Let's see what I got in. My entry was at 72392. And I got in on the it was a 1 hour bearish engulfing.
I mean, this has to be a pretty huge move just for 100 pips. That's why I never traded AU. The thing with AUD/USD that caught my eye right away is obviously this market structure here on this weekly time frame. What we see here we have a low, then a lower low, then a lower low, and here we have a high, then a lower high point, and then this could be potentially the next lower high point. Now on the weekly time frame, what we also do see here is resistance, support. So price could hold as resistance here as well. You go down to a daily time frame, you see that price is trading under the 50 SMA, and price is actually failing to break above this previous level of resistance, which we see resistance here. And historically in the past, what happens when price rejects this resistance up here is that it came back down into this area, which we can also see that we have resistance here and here. So what I've just done is I've built a range for price to actually move. So just based off of this huge impulse to the downside, what this simply looks like to me is just a pullback where we could expect price to continue to trade lower. So far, price has retraced just about 50%, which is nice for me to look for a continuation to the downside. I don't know what you're looking for, but at this point in time, I'd probably be looking for a short position that looks maybe something like this, where the stop loss is above this high here. Only thing though is I do believe this week has to close, and then we'll see that big bearish move happen next week.
Yeah, that's exactly what my market looks like. I'm just checking to see if I'm on point. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, that's what I would wait for on AU, and I'd probably wait for. I mean, even though this doesn't look bad because we have this double top pattern here, we have the RSI divergence, and then notice how price also attempted to come back up into this area, and we see two rejections. And now we're starting to see price start going down. So it's definitely not a bad setup.
I mean, I got in already on the hour that big bears engulfing. I wasn't sure if I got in too early, but it sounded like I got
This one?
Yeah, go to the hour real quick. I kind of got in too early. You see the one right here, the second big candle?
This one?
Yeah, that one right there.
I wouldn't say it's too early because on a 4-hour time frame, it's that nice engulfing with a lot of momentum. So no, I wouldn't say it's a bad entry at all, especially that I closed right under resistance. As long as your stop loss is somewhere, like let's say your entry is right here. As long as your stop loss is somewhere above this high here, then you should be good. Then you should be good from there. At this point in time, my target would be down here for a nice big target. The only thing is, I don't know how long it would take to play out because
forever. Yeah, forever.
You could do something like this where it just consolidates for a minute. I mean, this was a 9-day consolidation period. Like if you were looking to take a buy and you would have bought from here, to go from this point to practically resistance, it took 10 days. So you could
how volatile is silver? Is it like the same as gold, or is it slower? A little slower?
Yeah, it's the same as gold, except you have to use smaller lot sizes on silver.
Okay.
Hey, what's up, bro?
What's up, bro?
Yeah, would you come on the silver, please? I want to show you a setup I took yesterday, but it started working out, but finally came back to my break-even point. So I just want to show you the setup, and then you give me your point.
Okay.
Yeah. So in the 4 hours, like when you go to your left side, there's a key level down there.
Here?
No, go back to the, yeah. So yesterday, when the price break to the 22.99, break up and then pull back, I took a trade on the 1 hour. If you go to the 1 hour time frame, yeah, when I go to the 1 hour time frame, I see kind of a little double bottom here. So I took the trade from 22,993.
Like right here?
Yes. Go out from 22,993. No, yeah, right there, yes. I took it right there after that candle closed, the 1 hour candle closed. I took it.
Buy?
And then, yes.
Okay.
And then my target was 23,569.
$23.5, like up here.
Yeah. Like just up there, man.
And you didn't get out?
No, I did not get out. I just woke up and then to see the market go in a bearish.
Yeah, I mean, it was right there from this point, 23,569. That's like right here.
Yeah.
How come you didn't get out?
Yeah, I did not get out. But what do you think about the entry? Was it a good entry?
Personally, I wouldn't have taken that trade because price was at resistance. I would have waited for sells.
Okay.
That's what I would have done. And there would have been no sell opportunity for me here because this 4 hour looks very weak. I would have just waited for sell. I mean, if you saw buys and you took the trade, I mean, it would definitely win in your favor. It's just maybe you need to work on your trade management and adjusting and having trailing stops.
Yeah, of course, also on my technical analysis, because I told the week you see like on the 4 hour, the week you see on that was a breakout. The 4 hour, you see the wick when you go to the candle, the 4 hour candle, the wick that go down.
You're talking about in this area?
Yeah, on top, yeah.
This one.
Right down, go ahead. Right on your left, go on your left.
This one.
Go ahead next. Yeah, that one, the candle. I told that candle, that one, yes. I thought that was a breakout, and then I was like, let me wait for a pullback. So when I see the pullback, and then I go to the 1 hour time frame, I see kind of double bottom here, and then that's why I took the trade.
Yeah, I mean, it's like looking at it like in this perspective, it's definitely not a bad trade. So you have this little double bottom pattern. The only thing is that you go to the daily time frame, there's support, and then resistance, and then support again. So I would look for this to hold as resistance. That's what I would have. Well, that's why I would have. That's why I was looking for sells yesterday. That's just me personally, though. Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, if I'm looking for sells and you take a buy, what matters is if you make money. That's what's more important than being right, is making money.
Right.
Because you could be wrong. You could be wrong 9 times out of 10, but on that 10th time where you're right, you make back all those losses. That's what's more important.
Okay.
Hi, Raul. I got a question.
So, bro,
If you said that you go searching sales in that point, but if the price close above that resistance, when you have to wait, or how many times you have to wait to search buyers in that point?
well, first I would have wanted to see the candlestick actually close above. Once it closed above, then I'd wait for a pullback and then a confirmation on the 4 hour time frame that buying pressure is actually still there. Because what could happen is this candlestick could have closed up here, but then this next daily candlestick could have done this big bearish engulfing, right? So I'd want to wait for it buying pressure on that 4 hour time frame, and then I'll look to buy.
Okay, thanks. And another question I got is search the USD, Europe USD. Okay, how we can see there is a consolidation of many days. When you have that consolidation in one of your trade, what do you do? Because I usually how can I say, lose many trades when the chart is like this.
Yeah, of course, because price isn't trending. You're going to lose more trades regardless. In a situation like this, what I would do is, since we're overall trending bearish, I would just wait for price to come back into resistance and sell every time it came to resistance, targeting this area here, but also trying to trail my stop loss. So there would have been times where I break even. There would have been times where I'd made money. And there's probably would have been times where I would have lost money. It just depends. But I don't really try and trade all too much that specific pair when it's consolidating. That's why you have a watch list. You go from gold to silver, whatever the case might be, right? Not all pairs are going to be consolidating at the same exact time. Like if you look at GBP USD is trending versus Euro USD is consolidating. They still have USD in them, but GU is trending and Euro USD is not. So I would trade the trending pair, not the consolidating pair. I'd wait for the breakout. But if all pairs are consolidating, I would just take that type of approach. What's up, bro?
Yeah, I know you don't trade US30, but I just wanted to get your quick opinion. Could you pull it up or no?
Which one?
US30. So right now it's in this, I find to be a very interesting region. Like if you go to the daily time frame, it's in a region from about 36409 to 440 where it's I think it's rejecting or it's about to. It's like the inception of it starting to reject.
Well, it already
And
has. This candlestick is a rejection.
right, exactly. So I'm looking right now to get in on this sell all the way down, but I'm kind of
All
in
the way down to where?
okay. I That's the issue. That's why I'm like wondering because of the fact that it's been forming higher lows. On this rejection here, I'm not sure where to put my take profit when I do enter, if I do, because it seems to be forming those higher lows each time. And it's like, I'm not sure exactly this time around exactly how far. So I was wondering what you were thinking. If it's, yeah, I'm not sure.
Well, first I would wait for the daily confirmation, meaning a daily engulfing. Once we get that daily engulfing, then it shows us that there is selling pressure here because, I mean, the weekly could still fluctuate. Even though that we've already rejected on the daily, the weekly could continue and close actually above, right? So once we get that daily engulfing, it gives us a little bit more confirmation that price is rejecting these highs. And at that point in time, I would simply wait for a pullback and look to target another level on the daily. So here we have a level on the daily right there where you could see that. The next level would be down here. Here we have another level there on the daily. Essentially right here as well as another level on the daily. Maybe if I adjust this higher, I could put it like right here. Another level there. So that's how I would do it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. All right. Cool.
Raul.
Yeah.
I have a structure question because I usually use the 4-hour time frame for my structure.
Okay.
And I just wanted you to real quick go over like a structural break on the 4-hour to then like the difference between a structural break and then like a breather pullback, because sometimes I'll be getting tripped up over the breather pullbacks and thinking it's a structural break and it's not.
So you got to remember, first we have our main structure points, right? We have price forming its higher highs and then its higher lows. Vice versa for a bearish trend. We have lower highs and lower lows. So these would be our main structure points, right? And you got to remember, when price is actually trending, right, it's not a confirmed higher low point until price comes up and tests the high itself, or we have a change in structure. Right, so this would be more of a complex pullback here where we then see price continue to trade higher, right? Because the only problem there is with trading pullbacks, that one downside to it is our job to identify where that pullback ends is the harder part, right? Because if you trade fibs or levels of structure, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't mean that price will continue the trend in that direction. Sometimes the trend just completely changes, right? Sometimes price will do something like this, right, and change. And you've been buying along that area the entire time. You were looking to buy here, and possibly even here you were looking to buy again, but then price just changes in trend, and then it's your job to identify where you'd want to actually look to take a short position from that point on, right? Or there's so many different types of pullbacks. Like you have a regular pullback where price is making higher highs and higher lows. You have a pullback where price is kind of consolidating here and then price breaks up to the upside, right? You have your complex type of pullbacks where price is kind of does a little bit of a lower high and then continues to trade lower. Really, when it comes down to pullbacks and identifying the pullbacks themselves, the one positive that there is the risk reward compensates for looking when you're actually going to take those losses, because we can only identify certain things. That doesn't mean that price is going to go in our favor right away. That doesn't mean price will go in our favor from that point, right? I think anybody can make the analysis that, hey, we're at a higher high point right now. I'm going to wait for price to pull back into this previous level of structure where I'll look to take a buy from there, right? Pullbacks are a little bit harder to identify because, again, like where was it? Was it AUD USD or was it Euro USD? Right? Let me check.
Recording in progress.
It was Euro USD. Right? So as you can see here, we saw price continue to trade lower. but then it pulled back up, and then price actually came down and closed tested, right? So this is a different type of a pullback here. And then we saw price continuing the actual trend itself versus where we have another pullback where it's like this, where price just goes completely directly in the favor of the trend. Like it's a little bit more, I don't want to say complicated, but we're making a hypothesis that the pullback is going to end at a certain point. Why are we making the hypothesis that this is the area where we're looking for Euro USD to turn around? Because we have our previous level of structure there. Did it turn around here? Yes. But look how many times it tested that level before it actually did turn around and continued to trade lower, right? So sometimes the trade will go in your favor right away. Sometimes it'll do something like this. But it's just, as long as you have your main structure points marked off, you shouldn't get lost in the trend, especially if you're following the higher time frame trend. So if you go to the 4-hour time frame, that's definitely where things could be a lot more confusing, right? And really, you're only going to get better with time and experience and reading the charts every single day.
Raul, that lower high that it made in between before it made the double top pattern on the daily.
Here?
No, right. The next lower high in between that, but that little lower high that was broken right there in the middle.
One.
Yeah, that one. Would that be considered, like, if you pull out your fib and you measure that pullback?
Yeah, it's like 50%.
So would that not be a valid, because that lower high made a new low? So if I was trading that, I would have thought structure was broken. I would have thought structure was.
That's what I mean. It's a little trippy.
On the weekly, you can't even see it though.
It's the weekly is like it's almost nothing.
Yeah, you can't see it on the weekly.
Continuation on the weekly.
Yeah.
So you once you see something like that,
you gotta cut out noise.
Yeah, you bump it up a higher time frame and you look at what's going on over here, right? It was indecision and then price went up and then continued to trade down after that. Yeah, definitely, those are the tricky parts in the market, because I believe that's right here where you have this break of structure. Where at this point in time, I would be looking to buy on this 4-hour time frame. I wouldn't be.
So once something like that breaks, you could just consider a steeper retrace coming.
Yeah, basically.
All right.
Basically. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna stop real quick.
Raul.
Really quick. What's up, bro?
Do you know for the fund that comes?